Good morning, my friends. I'd ask you to take a breath in. Big sigh. And really enunciate that sound. Eyes opening. Welcome. My name's Drake. This is Touching the Edge. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or whatever time it is when you are watching this. I'm so happy to see you today, and I just want to, touch base on something I found interesting that happened recently, this last few days. If you're a football fan, and I grew up as a big football fan, really not as much anymore. I'm more focused on what I think is important rather than entertainment. But I'm not saying football's not important, especially to people, and in many ways, in supporting people and taking their mind off of things that are really challenging. And one of the things I saw right before the football match, the American football match, was the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, who was talking to his unbelievable quarterback, and saying to him, "When things are grim, become the Grim Reaper. When things are grim, become the Grim Reaper." I thought that was an interesting statement. I was curious what you might think about it, and I wanted to bring across some of the elements that I thought about it. There's a couple of things that came to mind. One is the story of Alexander the Great and the Gordian knot. Apparently, Alexander who is one of the most influential men in the history of this world, far more influential than we even think he was. He was going to the town, I believe it was called Gordia in India, and he was really into this idea of prophecy, and he had been prophesized to be truly a great man. He thought that he was in the lineage of mythical heroes like Hercules, and he really thought that he was in that actual biological lineage. So he thought that he was destined for greatness, and there was a prophecy that who was ever able to untangle the Gordian knot would become the ruler of all of Asia. And so, he went there, and there was this big, thick knot, super tight, impossible to untangle. And supposedly he stood there for a moment, and suddenly he took out his sword and whoom, chopped down on that with all of his strength, and the knot just came falling open. And he untangled the knot, but he didn't do it the way people thought it would be done. And so this is used as a teaching device for a couple of different things. One is to be innovative, to come up with ideas that nobody thought about in problem solving. And the other, it was that he had to strike with utter conviction. He had to take all of his power in one moment and strike with all of his strength, and so that knot would open. If he had not used complete, utter conviction, he would not have had the power to untangle or to break open that knot. And so, to me, this is part of how we can take that statement that Mr. Reid said, when things become grim, become the Grim Reaper. That being that when things get really, really negative, don't get transfixed by the negativity, but to become that powerful force that is able to slice through the challenge with complete and utter conviction to find a new path. And so, to me, what I'm suggesting is, with whatever we're dealing with, use that to make you more powerful, not less. Use that, to give you more conviction, not to split your conviction between being transfixed by what's happening like a deer in the headlights. No, instead of that, use that power to create a sense of agency, that urgency to create agency, so that you are able to solve challenges beyond your capability. And so, I'm asking today that you become that reaper, that Grim Reaper. Find your power and focus on where you're trying to go, where you aspire to go, not in what you don't want to be happening. Remember, keep your attention on the goal. Keep your eyes on the prize, not keeping it stuck on the negativity. Don't get me wrong, set the limits and do what's necessary to set the limits. But don't forget, if you stay stuck on it, you will become a vision of what you hate. So let's not hate. Let's get focused on a positive outcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I'm so grateful for your attendance. And please, if you appreciate this work that I'm determined to be a part of, please subscribe and please hit the like button. Apparently, it's very important. So I'm going to ring the bell. I'm going to ask you to listen carefully. Here we go. Remember, you can change the world if you take all of your focus in a laser-like intensity. I'm going to bring my hands into prayer position and I bow to you. Namaste. Thank you for your time.